Hello and welcome to State of the Builder. We're going to talk about the second most popular or most significant question that builders had over the 31 weeks of pattern review. And that is, why doesn't more effort get better results? And when did growth stop becoming predictable? Okay. This is going to be a short one today. So growth doesn't become less predictable overnight. It quietly becomes dependent on more effort, and you move from gaining momentum to just maintaining with the same effort. So what does that look like? So if your outreach pauses, demand slows. Follow-up stops, conversations stall. Networking drops, referrals fall and fade. And oversight increases, and then your delivery suffers. So you stop building momentum and you just start maintaining what you've been doing all along. So how do you grow? What happened? I had some feedback from a founder because I've been asking with my outreach this question. If you stop, what happens? If you stop pushing, because eventually I think we would all agree that we'd like to stop pushing and have the business maintain, right? Right. And I found this response very enlightening because this founder said, I never stopped pushing long enough to find out. Right. And so the question is, does the growth continue? So in other words, if you never stop pushing, right, then how do you know what structure is going to provide momentum? And how do you know when you get to the point where you can stop or slow down, right? That is the question. So what changed? What I'm seeing is that you're trying to play every move in this game instead of fixing the board. So in other words, business, the fundamentals, I say this all the time, the fundamentals have not changed. But the way that the number, the sheer quantity, the sheer volume of ways that you can play the game has changed significantly and continues to expand day after day, right? So this is your assignment. Like you need another thing to do, right? No, but this will help you to diagnose a key question. And that is, do you really have a pipeline problem, or is it a design problem? So for the next 7 days, we're going to run a micro experiment. I want you to look at your business, okay, and ask yourself this question with your activities, right? If you stop pushing for just 48 hours, does demand immediately slow down? Do conversations freeze? If the answer is yes, okay, then stop looking for another marketing agency or another lead gen or another, geolocation AI agent thing, right? Because you don't have a pipeline problem. You have a design problem. Okay. So growth may not be broken. It may simply depend on more effort than it used to require. And to identify where that constraint exists, we have a map for that. Now, what we've been doing in the summer. Now, last week I said we were going to do a summer watch party. I'm canceling that. Okay. But what I will do is I will do a summer replay because there's value in them dar hills from the pattern and the patterns that have been identified for business. So, in your leisure, do feel free to check out the replay. And the way to do that, to get the most value, in my opinion, it's entirely up to you, is to watch the episode. I'm not sure which one I'm going to put up on Tuesday. I'm going to pick one that I feel is most appropriate for this growth topic question. And then, do what you do. Pause where it makes sense. Question what stands out, and do DM me your questions. I'll respond to every single one. Or if you put a comment underneath the replay, I'll post it up probably about 6, well, maybe before Tuesday, but I'll post it up and just take a look at it and put your questions right there in the comments. And I promise I'll read everyone. So with that, I encourage you, again, do your analysis. Let's go back to it. Wait, so you can see this. Just 7 days. Take a look and see what happens when you push off for 48 hours. And then drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your results. Until next time, bye for now.